Okay, so if I click on your class, click on modules, week 21, a foundation of your roller coaster, 50 points due today. You are going to take a picture of the built foundation of your roller coaster. What does that include? That includes your cardboard that's 13 by 13 with a 1-inch border. I'll go over that in a second. 4 columns attached to your base. Your base is your cardboard. And 4 attached to base short columns, which are going to be attached to your columns. I'll upload your picture. Of course, I will go into detail during the class what this means. It's just a general idea. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, let's see, is, uh-oh, what's going on? Let's refresh camera. Okay, so, uh-oh. Okay, so let's say you have your cardboard, right? So it's a cardboard. It should be bigger, at least 13 by 13, right? So this is like 13 by 13 inches. Now what you're going to do is you're going to measure out inside of this given space and draw a square inside of it that's exactly 12 inches by 12 inches inside of your cardboard. So whatever length and width your cardboard is, awesome, cool. It has to be at least 13 by 13. Inside, what I really, really care about is this 12 by 12 square that you're going to draw right now. So you're going to be drawing inside of your cardboard a 12 by 12 square. Make sure it lines up. Sometimes when you draw this line kind of crooked like this, when you draw this line, it's only like 10 inches. And you're like, oh, what happened? Why is it only 10? Oh, because this line's crooked. So make sure that you have nice 90-degree angles to the best of your ability that measures 12 by 12 by 12. Now, in the perfect world, we would want this 1-inch border around. Some tape will be landing there. If it's smaller than an inch, that's fine. Most important thing is that you fit a 12 by 12 square inside. So take a moment, and what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna like kind of move this down a little. So this is like the best thing I could do, show you here. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm going to make this spotlight for everybody. Okay. So here's my Amazon box. I'm gonna see which side has less writing on it. They both seem to have less writing. What you're gonna do, so I already measured it. It's way bigger than 12 by 12. So what I'm gonna do, take a marker, take a pencil, take a pen, something that actually writes, and I'm gonna draw 12 by 12. A 12 by 12 square. Before I draw it, I want to make sure that it actually fits. Seems you have to go higher. All right, so I'm going to draw a 12 by 12 square, just like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. That. When this meets 12, when this measures out 12, I like it's a relief. So what I just did is a square that is 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches by 12. It's a square, so all the sides are equal. So 12, 12, and 12. And I still have cardboard around, which is perfect. My last period, which I'll show you a little bit later, I didn't have a lot of room on the edge, so it's fine. So go ahead and draw your square that's 12 by 12. All right, grab a piece of card. Look, I literally took a piece of Amazon box, made it flat. Now that's my foundation. You need it to be, the directions said that you need a 13 by 13, which is true. It's 13 by 13. And then inside of it, what really matters is your 12 by 12. Don't cut it. Do not cut it just because you're going to be putting some tape outside. All right. While you do that, I still need one more column. Do that right now while you're working. Building your 12 by 12. I need one more column. Make sure you score it. I finished grading everything last period, so if you turned in something or turned in something late or anything last period, I caught up on my grading for STEM. And on Aries, it has also been updated. If you have any zeros, it's missing. And I'll still take it. Okay. Make sure when you fold these, I noticed in some of your pictures, you're not creating like crisp lines, folds. So make sure they're nice and crisp. You have nice 90-degree columns. You're gonna need 4 columns and the 4 little tiny columns for today's class, which the 4 columns I asked for on Friday, that was like the last thing you guys were working on before we left on Friday. And the 4 small ones, I think we did on Wednesday. So you should have all your pieces. All right, are we ready? Okay. So what you're gonna do is, so this is your column, right? Your column. Do you see this little tiny lines right below the word column? And they go all the way around. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut along the dotted line up to those dotted lines, okay? So we're gonna cut on like each side. So I'm gonna cut here all the way to the dotted line, here to the dotted line, here to the dotted line, so on and so forth. So I am going to take my scissors. Sorry, where are my scissors? Somewhere on my desk are my pair of scissors. Where are the scissors? Lost my scissors. Oh, there they are. That's right. These are my box. So I'm going to cut here, here, and here. So again, where it says column, I'm going to cut to that little line. So basically you end up creating like these 4 little tabs up into that line. Okay, just snip all the way around. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to fold onto that dotted line. So I'm going to fold up to the best of my ability, pinch it down, pinch it down. Down. Just like so. So you have something that looks like this. From your column up into that little tiny dotted lines. Just like this. Okay. So do that to one of your columns, just to one side, the bottom side, or the bottom side. Okay. Do that before I move on. All right, now what we're gonna do is we are gonna attach, this is a column, this is gonna go vertical. We're gonna attach this to one of the corners. Now this column goes right into the corner of your 12 by 12 square. And 2 of the flaps are gonna be like on the outside of the 12 by 12, and 2 of the tabs are gonna be inside. That's why we have a little bit of extra cardboard on the edge because you're actually going to tape it down. But so the corner of the actual column, not the little tabs, the actual column is going to be placed right in the corner. Okay. And we're going to tape down all the tabs all the way around. Okay. Take a couple pieces of tape, position it right in the corner, line it up perfectly, to the best of your ability. Just like that, all the way around. All right. Just like that. Now you're going to repeat the process for all four corners. So what is that process? You take your column, you're going to cut up to the dotted line, the very light dotted line. So cut, 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 just like that. It creates these tabs, which you're going to fold onto that little dotted line. Fold up. Just like so. It creates like these little tabs, like the footing or the foundation. Okay. Just like that. And then this gets attached to another corner. So I'm going to go on this corner. Line it up. You're going to have two tabs that are outside your 12 by 12 square. Make sure they stay pretty lined up. Take your time. This is your foundation. So you want to make sure that everything's positioned correctly, everything's lined up. You don't want to have crooked columns, and then when you're trying to build stuff later, because once crooked, it ends up, you know, messing up your whole, possibly your whole roller coaster. All right. All right. So far I've attached two columns. I'm now going to attach two columns in the front, which you may not be able to see, but again, we start off the same way. We're going to snip, snip all the way around. And we're going to fold, fold to create these like footings. So, like this. Sean, you can, I mean, you can do everything but attach it to a box, right? So you have to, I would call your dad right now and let him know. I would make sure that I have all my other pieces ready to go. You can snip, you can fold, you can have the footings ready for you. There's no other way but to attach it to a box. So, but you can cut the tab, I mean, not cut the tabs, cut, create the little tabs, create the footings. Make sure, create all your other columns, create your straight tracks. I can't really do much for you. It needs to be attached to a box. All right, and the last column. Create the tabs going up. Okay, so I have attached my 4 columns to my cardboard just like this. Okay, I can hold it up. They will not fall off. Okay, so attach your 4. So right now, this is what you should be working on. Let me try to raise it just a little bit. So this is where you should be. Attach your 4 columns. And if I zoom it in, you see how the little tabs are holding it down? The little tabs down. All right, we cut those right now. Pin them down like so. So 4 of these, okay? I'm gonna stop for like 5 minutes or so just to make sure that you guys catch up. Okay. Let's see. So I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, so now we're gonna do the next step, which involves the 4 smaller columns, the ones that say attached to base, attached to column. Okay, so we're gonna do these. Now, one thing we haven't done with these is if you see where it says attached to base, on the side, you see these light, tiny little line right there. It's extremely small and hard to see, but it's like a diagonal. So what we need to do is we need to fold these diagonal lines right here. It's on the side that says attached to base. All of them have it, and they have it on both sides. So these little tiny lines, we're going to the best of our ability. We're going to go fold up, and it creates like this little triangle. Okay, fold up here to the best of my ability. Like this. So it creates like these little 2 triangle parts. Okay, and we're going to repeat that for all of these 4. They each have a set. So fold it up. Fold it up. That. Fold it up here. Fold it here. Okay, creating these little tiny triangular tabs by folding on the little dotted lines. There's only 2 set per column, per special column. If you feel like any of these are kind of wobbly, please feel free to add tape. I feel like this one needs another piece of tape. So I'm going to find my tape. All right, one last one. Again, a little wobbly. Fold it here and here. Another piece of tape. You get sturdy. I mean, you're building your foundation, so you want to make sure you're building something sturdy. All right, so little tabs on all 4. Give you guys a couple 2 minutes to catch up. I'm looking for these little tiny tabs before we move on. 2 minutes. I'll pause the video. Okay, so I'm gonna take the larger one, okay? Doesn't really matter which one you start with, but I'm gonna start with the larger one. So it says attached to base and then attached to column, right? Attached to base, attached to column. So the one that says attached to column, that's the one that's gonna be attached to the one that's there. Attached to base, that's the one that's gonna be attached to your cardboard. So when you attach it, you're going to like lower the little tab where it says attached to column, and you're gonna place it into the existing column like so. So you're gonna like make them combine. Now, at the same time, you're watching what's happening underneath. You're just like, well, I have this gap right here. Now, if this gap is here, that means this is too high. I'm gonna lower it. If you lower it too much, you end up with a gap right here. Well, I don't want a gap right here either. So I don't want a gap on the bottom at the base, and I don't want a gap on the column right here. Look, I can fit my pinky through there. So you have to find the perfect angle where everything is fit snug. You might have to lower it some more. Like your anchors. Okay, I think that's a perfect snug fit. Might have a gap on the bottom, which is better than having a gap on the top. So you're gonna take some tape And I'm going to attach this support, diagonal support, to my column with pieces of tape.
Miss O'Malley, do I use the long one or the short one?
I'm starting with the long one, and then
Okay.
we'll have a conversation in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting with the long one. Does it really matter? The first one doesn't matter. That's all the rest do matter. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so you want to make sure it's still, you know, standing up straight, not angled any which way. Okay, add some more tape wherever you feel like you need more tape. This is your foundation. This is where your whole roller coaster is going to be built upon. So you want to make sure this is nice and sturdy and strong. I have a gap right there. Tape will fix that. So there's my first diagonal support. Now, if we were in the classroom and you know I could fix these things, we would take a small one and attach it to the other side and provide maximum support for this one column, right? Because they would have two diagonal supports, a long one and a short one. Like, oof, this is super sturdy. But because we don't have enough of these diagonal supports, what I've decided, and fifth period helped me decide this, is instead of adding two supports to only two of your columns, we're going to add a support to each of your columns. So it's either like only two of your columns had maximum support and two of your columns had zero support, or all four have some sort of support. Not maximum, but not zero, right? So we decided, you know what? Let's just split it up, okay? In the perfect world, you would be attaching the small and the long diagonal supports. But we don't live in a perfect world, so we're gonna have to do with what we have. So what I decided to do is, okay, I'm gonna put a long one here. Now, if the long one is on this one, I'm gonna put the other long one on the opposite diagonal corner one column. Okay, so I'm gonna put the long one on the diagonal one, like if I was gonna draw an X, and then the two short ones on the other set of columns, a diagonal, because I didn't want like two big supports in the front and two small supports in the back. That would probably make your roller coaster like one side better than the other, and that might cause you trouble later. So I thought, okay, how would I fix this problem? I'm thinking it might not be the perfect solution, but I think it's going to work. So I'm going to attach the big one, the longer one, to the diagonal one. So it's like if you're going on a diagonal, like if I'm drawing an X, that beam is going to have the longer one as well. So I'm going to attach that right now. Same way, find that perfect angle. It's a pretty good angle right there. Make sure when you attach these, you don't bring the column down or back or left or right. It's perfectly pretty standing up, pretty vertical, right? Okay. So I attached my other long support diagonal. Okay. Not next to, not in front of, but on the diagonal. Now your two smaller supports, I'm going to put on, again, these two corners. Notice they're on the diagonal. Okay. And if your actual beam needs more support itself, get some more tape. I realize that putting one piece of tape was just not enough. All right, so put this. I think you guys can see that. Right here. Work. Make it vertical. Stand up nice and straight. You can probably already tell, like if you play around with the one that has no support compared to the one that has the support, diagonal support, you should sense that it's like a lot stronger, a lot sturdier. Good. And I'm going to attach the last one to my last column that has no support. Make sure there's no gap up here, right? The angle's pretty good. Okay, so I've attached all four. Now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to reinforce everything. I see my piece of tape here, piece of tape there. Doesn't hurt. Reinforce your base now before your roller coasters falls apart later. Good. Okay, so this is what you should end up with. So all four columns have some sort of diagonal support on them. All right, two of them have a long one, two of them have a short one. They have some sort of diagonal support. As I was rotating, I realized like, oh, I didn't put a piece of tape back here. Piece of tape back here. All right, so this is my completed one. This is what's due today. This is what I need to see. Whoa, this is what I need to see a picture of. Okay, your four vertical columns, and then they each have a diagonal support. Okay, this is what's due today. What is on my camera right now is due today. So this is the one I just did with you, and this is the one I did with fifth period. Okay, so very, very similar. I decided to do it on top of the box instead of inside the box. I thought outside the box. Flip it over, does it fall down? Okay, so that's that. And this one for you guys. Okay, so this is what's due today. There's like, what is it, 25 minutes left? So 25 minutes left for you guys to like catch up and go like, okay, I saw what she did. I'm gonna take my time, do it way better than she did. That's perfectly fine. Let me stop the recording.